Man, King, man, what's poppin', man? How you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, my brother. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate it. This is my first time live on anything ever. You
Ever?
got the first one ever.
That's what I'm talking about, though. That's what it's supposed to be about. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And that's
sir.
why it's it's,
Yes,
it's
sir.
it's organic what we doing. So it's not like we fronting on anything. So I brought you on. By the way, anybody that's listened to us, I met the man on Facebook straight up, like we never met in person. So this is
No, sir.
this is,
But he's a
this is
good
real.
man.
Like
That's a
this is
good brother right there. Yeah, yeah. You're a good brother, man. You push the information. You on that autonomous party. I love that. You know what I'm saying? We gotta do us. We gotta do us.
we have to do us, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I've been
Yeah.
through a lot of school of thoughts. In my 20
Mhm.
years of travel in
Word.
life from 21 to now being 41. That's what I mean by that travel wise. In my
Oh
journey,
no,
I've
I
seen
guess.
a lot of things, you know what I mean? And
Yes, sir.
not everything works. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, everything don't add up.
Some things are good
Everything
for a
don't.
time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Some things are
Well,
good
some
for that
things is
time
good to
frame.
some things are good to take you to that next level because you know how first time you heard certain things it was so crazy to you was like what, but at the same time maybe that level before that one introduced you and it kind of warmed you up to the fact, hey man, it's a little bit deeper than I thought it was. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what happened to me anyway. I say it speaking from self experience. Learning as we go, bro. You know what I mean? Like you're a friend of mine on Facebook. You see, I just share what I learn. I don't claim that I'm the man and I know everything. I just when I learn some new stuff, I share it with my people. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I do
Real talk. But that's what it's about, though.
it.
That's why actually I'm doing this podcast slash mix show, and I'm actually doing something that's my being not like I could easily just do a regular show. You know what I mean? We could be
Right.
playing
Right.
music and just keep it simple. You know what I'm saying? But
No
I
doubt.
feel like right now we in 2021, all this information out on the internet, anyways. Why isn't
Hmm.
why isn't anybody giving you that the culture that we come from, the shit that we were raised on, but still progressing our culture and showing people like this is what hip hop did when we were young. Like it gave us information that
Exactly.
we didn't have access to in school and it made us search for other things. You know what I'm saying? So that's why keeping it true to that whole origin of that,
Right. No
it
doubt.
got
That's
me to where
see.
I'm
That's
at now
what
to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? You know?
that's what scared them because our hip hop era, our original hip hop era was so informational and so revolutionary to them because it was like, yo, we thinking for ourselves, we feeling our own way. It scared them.
Right,
And then what they had to do, they had to turn it back on us. You know what I'm saying? They turned it right
right.
back to us with the gangster
Facts.
rap and all that. I mean, gangster rap was real, but then they took it and they monetized it. You know how they did. You know what I mean? I'm sure you know how it go. You know what I mean?
I could
So
go into
I
that, but I
feel
don't want to
like
go too far into that tonight with you,
okay,
Rob. You
no
know what I mean?
doubt,
We
no
can go
doubt,
a
no
lot of
doubt, no doubt.
places in our conversations as friends
Yes,
on
sir.
Facebook and the things that we both see and what we share and what we like and what we in the groups that we both are all into. Because we see a lot of people don't
Right,
know that this Facebook thing is like even how I met you is it's like it's unique. I have to give it its credit for the connection points because I wouldn't meet you if I didn't have
right.
Facebook, right? That's the truth.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Good or
bro. I
bad,
appreciate
right?
that too.
No, that's the truth.
Exactly.
Like, as much as
Thinking
I might not
minds,
like certain things
we.
about Facebook, I don't lie. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people I meet on
Nah,
Facebook
yeah.
that I wouldn't talk to nobody like this. I learned certain things from them if I didn't have Facebook to talk to them on. You know what I'm saying? So
True indeed.
I give
True
credit where it's
indeed,
due.
bro.
I'm not a hater. I don't like certain things, but I like certain things. It's what it is, right? But
Yes, sir. You're
you
right.
know why me and you interest wise. I'm trying to see because I had a problem earlier. It kind of messed up my whole panel. So I'm not going to front. Like I even had um my Master Ether who does my money corner every Sunday for at least 15 minutes in the beginning of 9 o'clock, top of the hour with economics and things that we want our people to learn about so they can get the resources they need to tap into certain things presently speaking. You know what I mean? Economically
Yes, sir.
speaking. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Because
amazing.
it's
That's
not just about
amazing.
history or culture. We got to understand business and economics. We have to know it. That's the only way we're gonna get control of ourselves in a matter of politics. Get where I'm going?
Yes, sir. Absolutely right. I mean, it has to be everything. You know what I mean? Because it all ties back into each other. history ties into the current, financially, emotionally, spiritually, all of that. It really does a lot for, I feel like any of us that learn, the history makes you want to do more for now. It's like, hey, man, we shouldn't be doing what we did 20 years ago, 40 years ago, 100
For
years
real.
ago. We're supposed to be on that next level, and I'm always down with anybody that's on the forward thinking tip. If you got like you, when you, man, you was kicking when it was politic time, right? And it was like, yo, bro, nah, man, I'm ready to start my own thing. Yo, I'm with you. You know what I mean? Even if we don't agree on every topic, I'm
Right.
with you because I know that's the only real path forward. What else can we do? We know that they're not going to do what we need them to do for us.
Hey,
It's not going
Rob,
to
I
happen.
ain't gonna lie to you, man. Since you said that, because the fact that the time that me and you actually became friends on Facebook, and you keeping it real, since
Hmm.
I've had this little blow up, and to everybody that's on, listen to me on Miss Cloud and all our channels right now with the autonomous party. See, this is a witness
Hmm.
of somebody I just met within the last year or so. You know what I mean? Like we met
Right.
in 2020. You know what I'm saying? Like really,
Right.
when I think about
Exactly.
it, right? I met you in 2020,
Yes,
right?
sir. It was. I think me and you really started having conversations about right around the summertime, a little before the summertime last
Right.
year.
Right.
Yeah.
So you see how we were just interacting off a post that we both were engaging in, different groups that we
Yep.
both in the same
Right.
topic we both engaging in, and then it's like, well,
Hmm.
hey, we got enough in common. Let's touch bases and look how we are now conversating where we are now. You see, we're examples of
Absolutely.
we don't know each other from our neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? We didn't grow up with each other or nothing like that. We met each other literally, and look what we met each other about. You know what I'm saying? That's important for people to know. We met each other on the same common interest of what the
What we
topic
are,
we're
what
going to
we're
speak on
about.
tonight.
That's right. That's right. And you know what else? I think it's. I don't want to just say just our generation, but our generation is a little different than the others because we came out of that like Black Panther generation. We were both crack era folks. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, bro, we watched our people change. You know what I'm
Yeah, we
saying?
did.
And people don't understand why the kids are where they are. You can't completely blame the kids. I mean, it's a lot of fingers that could get pointed, but at the end of the day, man, that crack era was very damaging to us, man. Nothing.
Yeah.
If we're gonna talk about reparations, I think we should start right there because it's like, yo, bro, it's like,
Nah, we
hey,
can't start there, bro. I mean,
I
I get
mean,
where
go
you're going.
backwards. I mean, from there and go backwards. I don't mean like that. That's it.
Oh,
But go ahead, my brother.
I know what you mean, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
we can't really use that as the example for reparations, especially off the topic we about to go in on. So I'm not going to use
Okay.
that as
Okay.
the
Okay.
reparation example tonight. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it real with you, like,
All right. No doubt. Hey, I respect it, my brother.
you know what I mean? As you know, the topic tonight, I've been promoting it through the Autonomous Party because it's one of the things that we do talk about, culture wise, heritage. I'm gonna say heritage
Hmm.
first because
Okay.
everybody's genealogy, everybody's mixture of how your ancestors mixed and had you.
Hmm.
Your parents had you. Your parents had them. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
multiples. You know what I'm saying? You come from two, and that two come from four, and that four
Four.
go from eight, and that eight go to
And on and on
16.
and on.
You
Yes,
feel
sir.
me? It multiplies.
Absolutely.
This is some mathematics. I'm not lying about what I'm saying. I mean, it's how it really works. Ancestral, the tree really works that way. You know what I mean? So,
Hey man, I'm doing my genealogy now, and you just like you said, it's like every time I get to a new level, it's like damn, boom, they go
wow.
8 more folks. They go, you know what I mean? And
Right.
that's
It's
how I
crazy. It's
go.
a
You
whole
know what I
row.
mean?
It's crazy.
Hmm.
Yep.
That tree crazy. Like when they hear
Yeah.
the expression, because like before again, I want people to know that I'm speaking from an honest standpoint on all the things that we talk about tonight. I don't hate nobody. There's no heart hating my heart for a certain group or one of them kind of like
Right.
people that pick. Oh, I'm going hard. Like I just want the people to understand the truth and the knowledge that's going on because there's a lot of things that I think a lot of our people are not like acknowledging in the masses of that people that look like me and you because I might be dark skinned and they will call you a red nigga in my hood. You feel me? But
Right.
they still
Yeah.
will call you black. You know what I'm saying? In my hood.
Absolutely. We
So
still family. You know what I mean? It all tie back
right.
right back in. You know what I
Right. I
mean?
got cousins your complexion. I ain't sweating it. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like,
And most of my family is your complexion. So you know what I'm saying? That's why I say we still
right.
really
It's
we
no
all
big
back
deal.
to family. You know what I mean? You just have to know better. That's really what
No
it is.
better. But you know, as you said, no better. Since you brought up the word, I'm gonna segue from no better.
Hmm.
And that's why we
That's
have this
right.
constant conversation tonight. You know what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
it's dealing with these four terms. The four terms I'm putting on the fingers. Before I even go into bringing up any documents, because you know Slim Red, he gonna bring up all the documents. You know, if we have to pull up a website or Google or whatever, it's gonna be on the page that you see me and I see you. So everything we
Right.
talk about, we need to pull it up in this conversation. We
So
gonna pull it up.
everybody,
You see what I'm
yes,
saying?
everybody can
So
understand. That's
everybody can
right.
see
That's
it.
right.
It's a
Yeah.
mix show,
Yeah.
but we take time out of our mix show for the Thomas Party. Thriller Campaign is going to take a part of our show that we do on Sundays from 8 to 11. Even though we play music for everybody and do our thing, we know for in our community for throwing parties and running situations in our community. But when it comes to this is about getting the information out and from a
Yeah.
urban standpoint of where we come from, where I come from, the people that's around me come from, and because we're not, acting like we corporate or we're not acting like we, bourgeois or, you know what I'm saying? We some dudes that have a common interest in we in the entertainment industries and different things like that, but just locally in our communities is no big shit. You know what I'm saying? So
No doubt.
no egos with this. That's what I mean by
Real
that.
quick before you start, I just wanted to say something, bro. I didn't know that either you live or you from Newport News, Virginia. Is it either one of the two?
I was born in Newport. See, all right,
My
you brought it up,
family's
so it's
my
what it is.
family's
No,
from
no,
Newport
I
News.
want people to know. I was born in Newport News because of my father. You know, my father was
Okay.
in the military. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was born there when he was stationed there. Newport News, the base,
I got family
Fort
all
Eustis,
throughout Newport News, man.
Fort Eustis, right? I went to
Yeah.
Greenwood Elementary. Are you familiar with that?
No, no,
Greenwood
no, no, no,
Elementary.
no.
I
I
went
just
to
visit
Greenwood
during the
Elementary.
summer times to go see family, man. I can't tell you nothing about Newport, to be truthful. I'm from
Okay,
Buffalo. I'm from Buffalo and Niagara Falls, New York,
you from
and
Baltimore?
Atlanta.
Buffalo.
Oh, Buffalo. Okay,
Buffalo,
well,
New
I
York.
get it here, boy. All right,
Buffalo,
say
New
that again. You
York.
say, you from Buffalo?
Buffalo, Buffalo, New York, Niagara Falls, New York, and Atlanta, Georgia are my three homes. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Where you located right now?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. That's
Got
what's up.
Mac
Yes, sir.
Blame in the back.
On the
So
south
you
side.
came from up north and came south, correct?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
All right. Good. I again, my peoples. My father's from Georgia. My mom was born in Florida, and I was born in Virginia, Norfolk, Newport News, Fort Eustis, because of my father being
Hmm.
stationed there. And after that, I went to Japan for a couple of
Hmm.
years, from 9 to 12. And then when my dad retired from the military, my dad decided to come back home where he was raised. Not where he was
That's
born,
dope.
but where he was raised, where his mom raised him. So, and my mom obviously is from here, where I'm at right now, located South Florida, Broward County,
Nice.
you know,
Ooh.
Dade
Ooh. I
County,
wish I was down there,
Miami,
player.
Broward, Fort Lauderdale. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Miami. I'm gonna shout out what it is. I've been throwing parties in this area for at least 20 years, so I can tell you
That's
that,
the
like,
305, right? Ain't that the 305?
305, like 305.
That's what I'm talking
I,
about.
I
Hey,
hey, I could talk about some other shit. You know what I'm saying? Put it like that.
I
You know what I
bet
mean?
you could. We'll do that on the next episode, bro.
Right. But no, this is a mix show, and that's how real it is. That I don't want people to think like we're in a
Hmm.
classroom or something like that. We
Yeah.
just some brothers
Somebody else is
meeting
joking.
across the Wi-Fi, and we spread
Chopping
this
it up.
information across the Wi-Fi, chopping it up during the
That's
broadcast.
right.
We're gonna play some music and everything still, but this is just the real of what we want to talk about on this show. You know,
Okay.
Mac Blame
Yeah,
in the
I'm with
back.
it, brother.
he is. All right, let's pull them up. Let's pull them
Uh-oh.
up. Hey,
That's my people
Matter of
too.
fact, Rob, I got Mac
Yeah.
Blaine. I got Mac Blaine just pulled up. Matt Blaine, can
Hey
you hear me?
man, that's
Hey, Matt Blaine, can you hear me? I can't hear Matt Blaine. Rob, you can hear me though, sir,
Mac.
right?
Yeah, I
Mac,
can hear you, man. You know Mac is a cool
How y'all
dude, man. We
doing,
ain't never
man?
met neither.
okay, there he
There we
is.
go.
There we
Can
There
y'all
we
hear
go.
go.
me?
Yeah, I
Yes,
can hear you
sir.
now.
All right, that my too loud or too low? I'm good.
I mean, you can turn up a little bit, just a
All right.
tad,
Okay.
please.
All right. Is that better?
That's a little bit better. Cole, what you think? You
Yeah.
running the board? It's the
Yeah.
best we gonna get in my situation. I ain't gonna beg for too much.
Yeah.
And
How y'all doing, man?
we doing all right, bro.
Good morning. What's up, my
I
brother?
kind of caught the middle of the conversation, so I'm still trying to keep on what you're talking about, but I'm listening, man.
Well, no, me and Rob were just actually chopping it up about how we met. You know what I'm saying? Same way how
Yeah.
I met you. You know what I
Ah, that's
mean?
what's up.
Same thing with
Wow.
me. Same way I met Mac. Yeah, what up,
Right.
bro?
Yeah.
We
What's
all met
good,
each
What
other
up,
man?
on
man?
Facebook.
This
He's
is the
cool.
first
Yeah.
time we got to talk.
Right.
But that's
Yeah.
my people, though. Hey,
See how that
look,
That's
works?
he
my
made
man.
me, yeah. That's dope.
We bringing each
Right.
other together to talk about these things because we're in that time. We're in that
Hmm.
time. I don't think there's no reason for us not to interact with each other and have these conversations and get the information out. And Mac Blaine, you know, me and you have certain things in common. This is our names. I'm Mac. You Mac. You know what it is.
Mac
Gotcha.
attack.
Yeah, man. I mean, we have a lot of divisions, so anything that'll bring us together, that's good for our people. So that's what I'm about, just
Right.
bringing us together. I try to spend time fussing about Moors and Hebrew Israelites and Aboriginals, and just focus more on our people, what's going to move us forward. You know.
I dig that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why.
I mean,
That's how I met you. I came on your
right.
page. You do your thing. If you want, I don't know if you want to shout out your page. And
Yeah.
both of y'all can shout out your pages. 'Cause I want people to follow you guys because both of you guys are doing some things in the community that people need to pay attention to. So that's
Yeah.
one of the reason why I was able to meet y'all because of what you guys are doing on your own will. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we here.
Yeah, well, it's always something you can spend negative energy on. So, we can argue about what to call ourselves for a million years, but it ain't gonna move, the conversation or our situation forward. So, I'm kind of this guy. I like to joke around a little bit, but stay focused on my point. My point is my main point that I try to articulate to all our people is that we are the first people. You can do what you want, just and that you're on your land, and that's the battle. That's half the battle. And so that's what I pretty much
Hey,
focus on with my platform, and I mostly try to prove the existence of indigenous Negro population in America prior to the Mongols. And I focus less on tribal affiliation or this one's land and that one's land. I mean, that all can be debated. When it
yeah.
got
You're
to
right
the
about
point
that.
where they started educating our children, then history and time and what really happened done really been lost, once we've been educated by them. So I try not to focus on that, but it's lots of evidence to prove that America had a Negro population that looked like what is us now called Black Americans. And I think that'll make the difference just to bring that to light to people.
Well, Mac Blaine, with that being said, I agree with you saying. I ain't gonna knock what you just said because it's true. Some things that we could debate about and go in about what the mixtures that took place in our
Right.
past with our ancestors, you know, that's something that's not gonna get us where we're going right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Yeah. More division. That's just more division, bro.
the division
Yeah.
thing's not gonna work. You know what I mean? I agree with you on that. And I've been through my travels dealing with certain things such as the Moor Science Temple of America,
Right.
Dr. Malachi Z. York in my college days.
I'm familiar with
Hey, look,
like
I
You
got
know what
one
I
of his
mean?
old books right here,
right.
bro. Skeet you
You see
up.
that? You see that? You pulling it up,
Yeah.
right? I'm in the
I
studio,
got
but I
one.
could pull out like how you pull out. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Right, I
pull out the
got one.
whip with it, shots going
Yeah.
off. Like I got that. But
Hmm.
I mean, I found out about Yamasi, Washita, because of Dr. Malachi Z. York.
Right, he
When I
talk
was
about it all the
21 years
time in his
old.
books. Hmm.
Right. He had it in his books. It's in his black book, matter of fact.
Yeah. I mean, well, just in my studies, it showed that we're interdependent people. So we depend on
Yes.
other. So we collect information from all of us. And that's how we, get better understanding. Um, just in studying, it seems as if we've been hit with what I would call a cultural genocide. And it's just it's just a form of a revolution that takes place in different places all over the world. Like they had one in Liberia. And it's basically when you have the youth rise up against the old. And if you look right now on a lot of platforms on YouTube, you hear them saying, what have the old people did for you? Or these old bootlicks. But all of that is part of a social system and is actually meant to create division. You know, we have to love our elders regardless, you know, of the decisions they made, you know.
You know, as a matter of fact, that's what I want to talk about tonight, dealing with the Moors, the Hebrews, the Muslims, and a term called Indian. You know,
right.
And that's that literally because you know I see y'all know what I'm talking about. Cause I see what y'all do already on social media.
Oh
So,
yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar. There's another person that will put me on this podcast, so I can get him on. If he
working on it,
we're working on getting him in because he's the last person I really wanted in on this conversation. Because it can go some places, and I know I'm past my time tonight when it comes to certain things, but I don't really care because I have my time frame to talk about these things, and I'm not going to rush it. You know what I'm saying? We got to
Gotcha.
get to the real of this right here. So this is what I want to say to y'all. I want y'all to tell me what y'all feel. You know, agree to disagree. Ain't nobody perfect, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
All right. So, from my perspective, of my understanding of Moors, Hebrews, Muslims, Indians, I know, and I'm gonna say these certain words first, so we can be on the same page. I know about the Papal Bull. I know about the doctrine of discovery. I know about the dumb diverses. These are technical things that took place in history from a certain religious system that casted out certain things against certain people that migrated to America. And me understanding what took place in that time frame of, let's say, the 1400s, 1500s century, 1492, 1452, all them different time frames going into the 1500s. And you see a migration pattern of peoples that had to migrate all the way up until the 1700s that look just like us on this podcast right now, that came to the Americas because of discrimination against a religious faith that they might have had, such as being Hebrew or such as being Muslim, which would go back to the people they call Moors that had got expelled during these times of religious wars that took place in these areas, Spain, Italy, you know, the Iberian Peninsula. I get that whole story. Are we on the same page so far?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt. You're right.
All right. So as I'm going forward, the point is that these people that came here that look like us, that's also hidden in history. Because I know I can go down a long road of things in detail that, you know, people ain't got time unless they go do their own research to understand. But there was indigenous people here in the Americas that these people that migrated came and saw. These indigenous people were not from Africa. These people were not migrated on ships from Africa. These people were not brought in through these history standpoints that they were talking about when we're talking about indigenous tribes and nations of the Americas. North specifically, but we could talk about the Central and the South as well. But at the same time, this mix that took place going from 1452 going into 1492, when we know about Queen Isabella and Ferdinand kicking out some Jews and some Moors, Muslims, Saracens, savages, and proclaiming the Papal Bull that said anybody that's not with the Roman Catholic Church, you can take their land and consider them not. You consider them savages. You consider them they're not civilized enough to hold that land anyways. Basically, what they were trying to tell you. You know, I'm only saying all this point to deal with the Moorish standpoint or North African standpoint or continental people that came here from the place we call Africa today, which is a Roman standpoint of thinking. calling it Africa in the first place. But
Right.
in the Americas, there was people already looking like me and you, what they would call today black, labeled Negro, mulatto, etc., Creole,
Right.
etc., Indian, which is still a Negro, and they
Right.
wrote this in their books, stating these things. So
Yeah.
I'm only just before I let y'all go in, I'm gonna let y'all have it. I'm gonna be quiet. I want to hear y'all sides of it, but I just want to make sure I gave a quick synopsis of the whole conversation that's about to take place, and let y'all give y'all piece to it live on the platform that we have called the Autonomous Party. So, Rob, you want to tap in first because you the first one to tap in. What you got to say about that?
You know, um, I keep trying to learn more about the Moor situation, but what you said so far, as far as I've read, is right. It's like, well, yeah, they were here. They were here before the Europeans came. They were coming back and forth, just like they're like you said, the African or they have the African background. They were coming here before they brought the Europeans or helped the Europeans find how to get here and all of those things. So it stands to reason that some of them did mix prior to the whole Christopher Columbus and slave trade and all of that. My thing is always, or I should say, up until recently, I have always been on the just don't mix the two. I respect, yes, this is this group, this is that group, but don't say that all the Indians were Moors because I don't follow that. Now, can I say that were there some Moors here? Absolutely, I believe so. You know what I mean? And the more I'm learning, the more I'm realizing, the term Moor really is no different than us, calling each other black. And I might be completely wrong with that, but that's
I
just
got
where
something
I'm
for you.
at. Okay.
I got something for you
I'm
on that
listening.
tonight. I got something for you on that tonight. I'm gonna bring up something on that title tonight. But Mac Blaine, what you got to say about what we said just now? Let you tap in. What you got to say, brother?
Well, when it comes down to our origin, if you know that from, I study the Pacific Islands, Oceania, and what it is I found many 40 maps that show South America is connected to Antarctica, which was called Mantica, and it also wraps around the Pacific and it connects to Australia, what is now modern day Australia. So the lands are connected. And look at ants, marsupials are only found in America and in Australia. And then we have potatoes that's also made its way to Australia. So it's a lot of ties that tie America and Australia to being the same land. So with that being said, Australia occupied by many hundreds of Aboriginal tribes. Now, many indigenous people on the planet, but not all of them are actually Aboriginal. So all Aboriginals are indigenous, but not people are Aboriginals. All Aboriginals are also Negro. So this is the connection that I'm making, and it is how I explain the Negro population of America. It is just simply the same Negro population from Australia or from what would be called the Oceania area, where you have Caledonian and Vanuatu, and you got the Tango Islands. So all of those islands have populations of Negroes that look damn near identical to America. Now, when you type Aboriginal to your browser, it's easily to get the Italian looking ones from, that's just the island off the coast of Australia's mainland. But you have to search a little deeper. You can find people that look like us. They're usually called Torres Strait Islanders or Melanesians, and that's when you run into us. And they'll also try to trick you with them too and show you the blonde hair, blue eyed ones, but that's like 3%. Just like you'll find that in 3% of Black Americans. So, by us never being taught about these people and we're being taught about Africa, it'll be a good flip for the ancestors to give it to them like that, because I don't believe we have any Africa. I think we move different, we walk different, we fight different, we talk different. I just don't think we have any ties there. But Moors came over and stuff like that, but I don't think it was enough to do anything with the natural population of America, with the Aboriginal race that was found here already. Meaning
Good
they
point.
didn't dilute them any.
Great point. I agree with you actually on the fact that it was so many people already here that look like Negroes
Yeah, just
that
different. Right.
there's no way in the world you could say they made a dent
When you find
based
these
even off the
Aboriginal,
manifests that are
right,
found.
right. When you find these populations in Australia, I mean not to cut you off, but
No, go ahead.
they're genetically isolated, and which means a lot of different pockets of people that look among themselves, but they look completely different. Tribe that might be neighboring to them, and they didn't. So Aboriginals don't like to mix, and I read once that an African mixed with a white person, you know, like they just make like a mixed breed person, and then a few generations, somebody might come out dark skinned. But if an Aboriginal mixed with a white person, when they breed out, they never come back. So that's something we have to look at. They get light, they never go back dark. They'll never have a dark child.
Right.
Basically, like that cease to exist. So just to
You
make
know,
them.
when you just said that, not to cut your wisdom back at you, not to cut your wisdom, but you were saying something that kind of brought me back to. I was talking to my wife actually earlier, and I was breaking down the mulatto. You know what I'm saying, and how mulatto didn't actually beginning start with like black and white mix. That's not
Right,
true. Because
right,
black and white ain't nothing but a status. There's no
right,
national people called mulatto, called black and white mix. So these were mixes of a dynamic of an African with a Native American, a Scottish
right. I
with
believe it was any
A Native
mixture with a Native
American.
American, right? Any
You
mixture
know what
of
I mean?
any
Like
other race
different
with that Native,
mixes. So
right?
once the mixes took place and they couldn't keep up with who came in originally into these colonies, they had to automatically mark them as mulatto, a mixture, or Creole. Another word used was Creole with the French, and mulatto was amongst the more of the English. That term came into play. But because a lot of people don't understand the whole mulatto situation, and I'm only going into that whole thing because of the fact that we're talking about Moors, Hebrews, Muslims, and Indians. And automatically, I don't know a lot of people know this, but I'm gonna say it that a lot of people that deal with Moors in America don't really know that the Moor situation. Yes, we know in history, like we all just talked about, coming in and mixing into the population. But when it comes to now this movement of called Moorish Americans, and some people gonna be mad at me about this shit, but it is what it
Boy.
is.
Well, the
You have
more okay,
the entity Moorish American. I'm talking about the word, the term Moorish American. All right, coming out of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and I just want to state facts of what it is. I could actually pull it up. 805 Illinois Act of Chicago. Type that in for me. Pull it up on the screen. And type in Moorish American 805 religious act or something like that with it. It's gonna pop up. That simple. We the Moorish Science Temple of America is a theocratic government. Now, what I need us in today's times, as they call us black, to understand that a theocratic government, because this is the Autonomous Party podcast, and if people that don't know that's tapping in, talking about being autonomous is self-governing yourself, right? In all ways of anybody, what color, they call us all black again, right? We're all together in that group, not because we want to, because of how they label us. That's just being what it is. So us trying to get out of this label and govern ourselves however we decide to govern ourselves based off our beliefs, culture, background, heritage, geology, etc., with the mix or no mix, being aboriginal to Americas or being the mix between African or what you want to call it a Moor of mixing in now, whatever you want to go into all these terms. The Moorish Science Temple of America is basically dealing with the Moorish American and dealing with 1913. It came about, but that's what Islam, 1812 actually. But the connection goes back to 1899. 1899 is the first temple. It was called the Moor Zionist Temple, and it was out of Brooklyn, New York. And that temple spread to Philadelphia and New Jersey. And from New Jersey and Philadelphia, that temple took on ways of what we call now today the Moor Science Temple of America. So when I could everything I'm saying to y'all, you could dig this up. Dig it up. You know what I mean? As I pull up the 805, you ready for it? I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna put it on the screen. So when it comes to this group, Moor Science Temple of America, and that's only what we're dealing with. Just that name, that title, dealing with nationality. Because Moors today, presently, most of them say they're Moorish American. Now, I want to make sure I say this because I don't have a problem with. I have conversations with Moorish Americans from time to time, and I have learned from the Moorish Science Temple and Moorish Americans. I don't have an issue with them on that level. Now, what the facts are is when it comes to just like you have Mormons, right? You have Jews today that don't look like us. I ain't talking about Negroes when I say those terms. Mormons,
right.
Jews. What's another group that the Amish? The Amish? Is the Amish another good term to use? All right, the Amish. These are all religious groups, right? In the Americas, right? These religious groups are governing themselves under a theocratic government. And because of how America was established is based off of, they say, religious and also dealing with the state law. The state law didn't come until later on. So originally, because of the Papal Bull and because of the doctrine of discovery, the people that came here to the Americas and were able to govern the lands were people that proclaimed themselves to be underneath of that doctrine of discovery, dealing with the Roman Catholic Church, etc. Right? I can't go into all them details right now on this right here, but I want to get to my point. So now, in present day, a theocratic government is attached to what we call canon law, and canon law is connected to our laws of the states presently that we use in law. And the theocratic law, dealing with the state laws and treaties and stuff, are connected to the understanding that if you are proclaiming yourself to be separate between church and state, and you belong to this church or this religious belief system, you are now able to govern yourself underneath this belief system if you gave yourself to that belief system. Are y'all following me right now?
Yeah. Yeah, isn't that like those 501c3 type groups?
Well, Rob, great question. A 501c3 is a nonprofit entity. A 501c3, you got 501c3A, 501c3A. You can go down the list of the IRS situation dealing with that. But this entity that we're looking at on the screen, and I'm going to get to the point right here. It says, second paragraph. On May 2nd, 1928, the Moorish Temple of Science started the process of changing legal type, a religious corporation, to afford and secure its rights established in the American Constitution. The transition process was completed in July 20th, 1928, with the filing of a religious affidavit of the organization in the Illinois Cook County Records Office. This affidavit was filed in compliance with the 805. Pay attention to that right there. 805 ILCS 110 Religious Corporation Act and 805. This is Illinois corporate state, basically, and their affidavits and how their corporation works within that boundary of the state of what we call today Chicago, and Religious Corporation Validation Act. So now they've been acknowledged as a theocratic government in the state of Chicago.
Right.
You understand what that means? Right?
Yeah.
So in Illinois, that temple is acknowledged as a theocratic government, which allows them, like how the Mormons, you know what I'm saying? The Jews, that give themselves to this organization will allow them to move freely in their religious belief within that organization. Is anybody disagreeing with what I'm saying right
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. And you know what? They were smart enough to do that.
now?
And
Right,
only now we starting to understand what all of that means.
right.
But yeah. And you know what's funny? When you look at the history, the Nation of Islam was started at the same time as them,
They
right?
came out of that.
And so was the Hebrew Israelites, weren't they? The
Well,
black
all of the
the
springs.
black Hebrew Israelites.
No matter Ben Yahweh, he come from out of down south Miami. You know what I mean? And this is why I know this because I can
Hmm.
speak on Ben Yahweh from out of Miami and his movement with the Yahweh movement. They were all white. They were dealing with the
Hmm.
same foundational organization structure that the Mormons, the Jews, the Moorish Science Temple of America, KKK, by the way, the Ku Klux Klan
Hmm.
is
Damn, I
organized
didn't
underneath
know
the same structure. All right.
that.
And this
So
is
that's a
why,
big part of the problem.
oh
Oh,
yeah, a lot of people didn't know that. See, I could go into
I
this
didn't know
conversation
that.
ain't about them because I could talk about the organizational situation on another time. But the confusion I'm trying to get to my people tonight, our people tonight, dealing with the indigenous and the Moorish and the Indian situation is this. Because like you said, the divide part got to stop. Because we got bigger situations going on. And on this platform, and I decided to bring some brothers that I've been influenced by based on what y'all boys post and the evidence that y'all showing that, we know that we in America's been here. You know, now we're marooned on our own land because we've been mislabeled. Some people have been marooned that look like us from another place. And
Right.
some of us now have mixed together.
They
I
done
ain't
mixed
knocking
us
none of
all
that.
up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we all mixed up now. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I'm not knocking none of that.
I'm gonna.
I understand that I've been marooned
I
and my
want to just
ancestors been mixed up
chime in
and
a little bit on that. With this mixed thing, we not
yeah,
as mixed as we think we are. You know what I
you're
mean? If
right.
you look like a Negro, that's what the hell your ass is. I mean, it's just that damn simple. We can say, oh, well, we got white in our blood. You don't look white, do you? Your ass ain't white. So
they don't accept you as white. They damn sure don't
but
think you white.
the identity crisis is done on purpose. I mean, it's that they try to make a mixed population and say, like, say for instance, the so-called Native Americans, none of them look the same. You can take 20 so-called Mongo phenotype Native Americans, and all of them gonna look different. They are not a race of people. When you
Right.
like say for instance, certain animals when you mix, they may be able to mix, but they can't sustain or create a population. Mix a tiger and a lion. They might be able to mix, but
Like
offspring
they
can't
can't
mix.
they
So
can't
they can't
procreate.
reproduce.
Yep,
So you can't really
that's
create a
right.
mixed population of people. So there's no such thing as a mixed race of people. Either your ass one or the other. Now you can have people that's mixed, but they're gonna either go back one way or the other way, and then they become back Negro or become white. It's just that simple. So the fact that they're telling you that a mixed race of people is the true Americans, it's just their way of stripping our identity. When they come in,
Yeah.
all of those organizations that was born around the same time, they was launched and they was sent out to give misinformation and to strip our identity away. You can look at a video that I have with Professor James Smalls, and he was talking about how he always knew he was an Indian until he went to New York, and then people started telling him he was ashamed of being African. And then out of that shame,
Yeah.
not he African. I just say he
Right.
was pussy, but that's just me. I told him to get the fuck out of my face. You ain't about to tell me who I am,
Right.
But
Right.
this happened to a lot of our ancestors at the time. There was a bunch of misinformation, people standing all out on Times Square, they talking shit, niggas got game, you know what I'm saying? Like Drew
You ain't
Brees.
telling me nothing.
Yeah,
Listen,
that's how it
I'm gonna
goes.
tell you, Matt Blaine,
Mm-hmm.
again. Let me and the person you see in the other screen on the side of me right now, Slim Red.
Mm-hmm.
We done
What's up,
traveled
love?
some places.
What's good? What's good?
You know what I'm saying? What year was it, Slim Red? What year was he in? Like 2008, 2007?
Oh, well.
It's
When
the
we went
same
to
thing.
Louisiana.
It's the
When we
same
went to
thing we have going
Louisiana,
on right now today. And then you have where you'll have foreign governments sometimes financing these types of movements, to create misinformation. See, what we got going on right now today, just with everything, the election, the hijack, all of this crap, and it's basically our sovereignty was stolen first. And then they demonized our culture, they demonized our history, they try to act like it doesn't exist. So that's why nobody want to acknowledge it, because this didn't happen to us first. So now they're here to do it. So now they scrambling, and white folks scrambling. Oh no, they want to spread the wealth. They want to do this. They want to do that. All they want to do to them is do what the hell they allowed them to do to us and kept their mouth shut. You see? Yep. So if you see what's going on with them, then you know what done happened with us. First, they divided us up. They tore down our government and then placed it we living under now. When you tear something down, it gives life to something new. Just the Marxist theory. That's the whole concept behind it. Just to, put y'all on it.
No. What you saying is right, though. I was only saying, me and Slim read about 2007 before Obama came in office. We took a trip out to Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? To Monroe County. Mm-hmm. We went to a Washita powwow.
Okay.
All right. And actually, one of the guests that's supposed to be here tonight, I met him physically at this powwow in 2007. And he was supposed to be on the, he actually, was just like COVID and all that. He a very voicious person. So he gonna always say what he say. If you don't know who he is, Cheeto Pa, if you're familiar with Cheeto Pa, you know what I'm saying? He always on Facebook talking about indigenous things.
Is he damn it, not Yamasee, but
yeah, Yamasee, you right?
Yamasee, yeah, because I think he's friends with some of my Facebook friends that's like here in Georgia. That Yamasee is from here. They were here in Georgia.
Well, I'm gonna go into that, and that's why this Indian thing, I'm going in on what I know. You know what I'm saying? Just to give some real, like, not just reading the book, but like me going. I went to Louisiana, Monroe County, because I wanted to really know what was going on with Washita and all the books and all the talk was about. So I went to a powwow in 2007. Met the family and everything. Went to the powwow, a powwow, as they call it, right? What Indians do, right? So it was nothing but us there. By the way, I ain't see no people we think of. Well, people will think of us Indians. You know what I'm saying? So
you didn't see none of the Mongolian slaves,
right? Am I lying? Cool. Am I lying? True story, right?
No, real talk.
This is real talk. Like, we was in Louisiana. We from Florida.
Tell me, I'm from Louisiana, and I always challenge people. I say, show me one book from Louisiana. They always say, "Oh, them niggas down there pretending they just dressing up like the other Indians."
No,
I've been.
They're the only ones still keeping it real.
In the heart of it,
stop playing.
In
Listen,
the heart of it.
You in Louisiana? I'm from y'all in Louisiana keep us alive with our heritage, man. And they like to say it's Creole, like something.
Exactly.
The only thing they can really, I can go into another. We're gonna have to come back and talk about that. We're gonna do this again. We're gonna do this again
from different parts of the world, and they always that. New Orleans done struck a deal with them. That is where they're allowed to retain our true culture. I mean, I was down there a few months ago, and I was in a project by my cousin, and the culture is still there. You can tell who. You can't tell who child is who. Everybody going in and out of everybody's house, and this is the same thing that they say about Indian villages. We still have that same culture. The police don't go back there. They don't mess with them. They don't bother them. Nope. Just let them do their thing. They walk around with blunts in their hand and babies on their hip, and don't nobody give a shit.
Hey, Mac, what you just said is real, but let me tell you why. Because when we went to Louisiana, the first night we got in town, we was trying to go to a party. And we from Florida. So we're like, yo, what's popping? Me in Monroe County, what's popping? You remember?
Yeah.
We went to the club and all. First night in town. Night before we went to the powwow. And when the club let out in Louisiana, and they was all over the place, ain't it? Like the cops were just sitting in the gas station like, just don't shoot nobody type vibe.
Right,
Like, yo, as long as y'all ain't shooting nobody,
Like,
we're gonna let y'all do what y'all do. Y'all at the gas station, y'all in the middle of the road. We don't care. Just don't kill nobody. We understand what's going on. Like, it's the culture of this territory. It's for real. Look, Louisiana's off the chain. Even in the country, it's Monroe ain't like
is whether you have
country.
the most culture retained. That's what people understand. The more in the outskirts you are, the more closer to being indigenous you is. And we eat that. I grew up eating shit that I caught every day. I mean, we eat what we catch. We eat from the land right there. And that's important. When you're doing that, that's when you where you're supposed to be, man. I mess around and left because of Katrina, and now I stay in Jackson, Mississippi. And just that hour and 45 minutes north, man, I can't find nothing to eat down here. This shit is not the same. My wife, she's from here.
You said that to me when I first met you. You told me that you used to live in Louisiana. You had to move because of Katrina. You know what I'm saying? So I remember you telling me that in our conversation. You know what I mean? But Mac, as you come from out of New Orleans, and the person that I couldn't get on the podcast tonight because of whatever technical situation, we're gonna do it again and let y'all know I'm gonna bring both of y'all back on this conversation because it's not a one-time thing. When we talk about these kind of conversations, it's not you ain't gonna get all of it in one clip. You know what I'm saying? It's just got to be scheduled, and we just got to come together and have a conversation and hash these things out so people can get an understanding of the mixture of what took place in what we call today America. Dealing with what we did in the Negro Day Terror.
I'm gonna tell y'all what helps me out the most. It's like I study a lot of these different islands and I study them close. And you can't listen to what the white narrator is saying. You have to look and see the culture for yourself. So when I see these people catching the same damn crabs, my grandma taught me how to catch that I catch and I eat every damn day. And I see the food that they eat and I see the way that they interact with each other. You can see that these people have more connection with us than the people in Africa just from the culture, but you have to understand what culture is because they teach you that culture has shit to do with language and all. The language is not even in the definition of culture. It's nothing to do with it, but that's another part of the system. Basically all they do is catch you speaking your tongue, and then they come and teach you a few of their words. They could be French, Latin, it could be any one of the Latin. They're all the damn same. English, Spanish, French, they're all the same. If I speak one, you can understand a few words. See what I'm saying? But they mix a few of those words in with your indigenous language, and then they begin to teach you how to read. They teach you how to spell in their language. So then once you learn how to read, they teach you that you was a slave and da 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 da. And then you go home, you say, "Ma, you was a slave," and your mama said, "What the hell you talking about, boy? You tripping?" And she said, "No, hell no." I'm not tripping, mama. You dumb because you don't know how to read. If you know how to read, you can get this information out this book. And then we start worshiping the book, and they start throwing that cross between me and the old. Indigenous that's enslaved on their own damn land is speaking their fucking indigenous tongue, but people don't understand it. And it would be a Creole. Like right now, all us in New Orleans, we speak Creole. Creole is not a race.
Creole.
It's a language. Creole is language. That's all it is. When you mix in language with a indigenous language, it becomes a Creole or a pidgin, like Jamaican patois or whatever.
Matter of fact, Mac, hold on 1 second. I want to cut your wisdom because you're dropping some shit, and I want to make sure I add to what you're saying.
Right.
I had this conversation today.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Because literally, my wife would be considered a Haitian, first generation in America.
Right.
And in Haiti, they say Creole, right?
Right.
So I was just telling her like Creole is not a Haitian thing. Creole is like mulatto.
They have language Creole, Spanish Creole, French Creole. Have many different types of Creole.
You know what I mean? Like you have many types of Creole because you could be a mix between the Gullah mixed with the British. You know what I mean? Or a French mixed with this, or a Spanish mixed with that. You know what I mean?
I separated though. Any island that's in the America's mainland, America North, Middle, South, and any island is all American. So Haitians, she just is American as apple pie to me. You know, it's no
real talk.
correlation. That's why Pan
Yep.
Africans pushing this Caribbean hate. We gotta watch that. They don't never want us to unite with our brothers. And sure, they got some coons over there, but most of them is just like us, bro. They just real Aboriginal on their damn land, trying to make.
We know that though. Matter of fact, I ain't
Yeah.
gonna stop. Matter of fact, let me stop talking shit. I want to say I know that though. Based even off the Haiti's Declaration of Independence, it says the army was indigenous.
Even with
It never said that
21
people came from Africa that freed
21
them from the French in that war situation that took place
What
in the
21
place we
Savage
call Haiti.
claims he's from the UK, but he's from St. Vincent. That's a Caribbean island. The man is just an American. That's why he rapped like us. He had a rhythm like us. And the UK, a lot of people from the Caribbean islands, like in the 19s, it was like the early 40s and 50s after World War II. They bring a lot of black people from the Caribbean. That's how you get the Joshua Anthony's over there. They'll say they're Nigerian, but a lot of them have American blood. That's why they over there knocking the champion of the world over there in the UK. They have a lot of brothers in the Caribbean. A lot of them back and forth from London to Jamaica and a whole lot of the different out there. So, you know, we had to not slip on that. They have some Nigerians come from Africa in the UK, and they teach them people to act like us, like Tether. They teach them how to act just like us. You get the Ives Everses and shit like that because those people are trained to act like Black Americans. But
I like how you said that.
Yeah.
My Mac and Rob, we all know what black mean, right? And we all know, we all agree that black mean. Black ain't
the wrong title.
But I'm gonna tell you something about black though. I'm gonna tell you something about black. Africans are not called black people. They're called whatever their nationality is. So they're gonna be called Nigerian,
city, town, tribe,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. The only people in the world called black is
besides us.
Australian Aborigines and the black.
I don't think our people in America that describe themselves as African American or Black American or American Negro understand in history that they have no connection nationality wise, which they have a right to, indigenous or not. So when I say that, I'm not being biased to anybody that's from Africa that came here through slavery. I'm not discriminating against any brother that's gone through, his ancestors gone through any kind of situation. But like as Mac Blame said, we know the majority based off the books and how they lied about a lot of stuff. A lot of us are from here. And we just been converted, and we've been converted into things that the colonists gave us because of war. You know what I mean?
The indigenous population land is like an animal of that land. He balances the ecosystem of the land. If the indigenous population go down, the land don't produce as much food and it don't have as many animals because they don't have no damn body to feed. So they can't actually remove you from your land. All they can do is make you think you from somewhere else and lay claims to the land. But the more they kill us, the less the land will for them. So they understand fucking well. So the name of the game is to keep you alive, but not understand who you is. That's what it is. You tied to the land. If you the land die, nigga, and the life go wherever the hell you go. Just what it is. That's what you got.
I want to make sure
that's the
I do
difference
this
between a natural man.
Exactly. Say it again, Rob. I'm sorry. Say that one more
time.
No,
I was just saying that's just the difference between a natural man and these interlopers, as we should really be calling them. You know what I mean?
You have two populations. You have populations of humans on the planet. You have people that survive from what I call the old world. They're really people. These are the people that was in Australia on those islands and in America that nobody knows how the hell they got there. They're so old, they just ancient. And that's who the hell we are. But they don't want to tell you part of that primitive man. And then as soon as you think primitive man, you think you talk like you're a man. You're not a damn man. You're the fucking survivor of the most previous population. So we're not even the same. We that's why we move faster. We have foot. We punch hard. All of these things. Boxing was invented. That's our natural way. I see all other Aboriginal tribes that I research. They buy, and these people don't even know. And they gonna throw them hands with your ass, just like we just naturally throw them hands in the. When I seen that shit made me cry. I mean, these folks, the same folks as us, bro. They over there with holding hands.
I've seen that video.
Punching. We don't do that shit, man. We gonna throw them hands, boy, and win. That's just it, you know. Girl, they get the fun. You get your ass knocked out. You know, it's just our culture, you know, and they try to. We were neat people. We were clean people. Ancient knowledge of all the damn herbs and plants. Every 60% of those crops came from America. We created they eat in Europe right now. And we created the corn that they use in Africa right now to feed themselves. So, you know, they always try to tie us back to Africa. Like, man, they wish that they did. Man, they made
ain't come from no Africa.
Fucking potatoes. 3,000 different potatoes.
Corn didn't come from Africa. See, that's a whole Mac Blaine, man. You go into a lot of stuff that we can't go into detail. Them motherfuckers
go everywhere. We created all that shit. We wasn't over here worrying about the rain. If it rained too much, we ain't gonna have shit to eat, man. We had corn. Then once we created 3,000 potatoes that grew in surfaces, we took corn and we made the fucking corn, and it'll just one crop that'll grow any fucking way. You could take this corn and it'll grow in Iraq. Right now, that's all we eat. Even right now today, that's all we eat: potato chips and fucking. You know, corn chips, Doritos, you know this shit. And that's the shit they know. That's the shit we created. You know? That's it. You know, you give a dog food. You give an Indian food. What is that? Potatoes and corn. You know, but a lot of but the pork too, because
there's some Irish shit. You know, the Irish came. You know, Irish with the potato famine. Irish.
Right,
have potato. No, I'm not talking shit. I'm just talking shit. You
no, they did have it. We saved their ass with the potato. Once they came to
America, I know that. That's why I brought
it up. We sent a potato over there, and that saved their ass. Then the motherfucker got their weight up over here. We want all the potatoes, you know, type shit. But yeah, that's what it is. We created all that shit. They don't want that, and. You know, our pyramids, our cities. We had cities with plumbing. We built levees. We know how to raise water. When they ain't had land, they built fucking islands, man. You know, they used sticks and mud from the bottom of the river and built islands and grew food on the islands. You know, shit that happened over here, and they want to put the shh on it. You know what I'm saying? And teach you about some goofy shit in Africa, some pyramids in the middle of nowhere. They don't even have a road up to it. They got shit right in Mexico with roads leading up to it, neighborhoods, plumbing. I mean, every fucking thing, you know?
You know,
bro.
I want to make sure I say this to y'all, though, because everything you said is right. We're going to have to continue this conversation. I want to thank both of y'all. You know, it's almost 15 minutes till 11 o'clock, and, you know, we still got to play some music. I want y'all to chill for a minute.
Man, it's 9:45.
If you have some time on your hands, let me play a couple songs. I'm gonna come back. We're gonna close it out. Well, let me play a couple songs for the people that's that don't know what we do every week here on this show, that come in just to listen to our channel during this time frame, dealing with our outlet that we're sitting in right now called Music Media Lounge. So we're gonna play a couple songs. We're gonna come right back. And Matt Blame, though, I want to make sure I say this to a lot of people, though. Today we say Mr., Mrs., right? This term, Mr. and Mrs., goes back to a noble title of Moor. It's a noble term. When I come back, I'm going to pull that part up because I want to make sure certain people understand there's so many diversity levels to this term and these terms that we use, even dealing with the etymology of these words. This definition of Moor, I want everybody to look at, if you are able to see what we got going on with the Autonomous Party, it's live. Mixcloud, it's live. So if you see it, you see it. So this vernacular I'm going to read it for those that can't see so you can hear. I'm reading from etymology. Am I right? What we reading from?
That's from Wikipedia.
It's Wikipedia. All right. Either way, you can go dig in more off of what you're seeing in front of you right now on this term. This is a quick little pull up, right? So you see it says MOR, and it says vernacular pronunciation, or spelt MAR, from classical Serer. Now, MAR with the apotheosis of a Y in between, written with the silent final yot, which is Hebrew. For everybody that's Jews and Muslims, understanding what we're talking about now, yot, Y-O-D-H, is a title of respect in Serer, literally meaning my Lord. It is given to all saints and is also used before Christian name of bishops. The corresponding feminine form given to women saints is Marth or Morth in Syriac. Mart with the Y. The title is placed before the Christian name. As a Mar, or Aprim or Moor, Afrin in Syrian, the Marth or Mort, Miriam, Mary, mother of Jesus, in parentheses it says, dealing with that term called Marim. The variant Maran. Now this word right here I want you to keep up with. Maran. That's how I pronounce it. Maran. M-A-R-A-N. Also called, and a lot of us don't know it from the Bugs Bunny, and they call us, this is like that's a bad term in America. When someone calls you a moron,
a moron,
it's not a good term in America. Like, they're calling you an idiot. But you see this term, it says it here. Moran. M-O-R-A-N. And meaning our Lord is a particular title given to Jesus. You hear that? This is what it says here. To Jesus, either alone or in combination with other names and titles. Likewise, Martan, and title of Mary, mother of Jesus, occasionally the term Moran used to various Eastern Christian patriarchs and Cappadocia. You know, I might be pronouncing that shit wrong. I'm close though. Who started using it in recent centuries, the Syriac, Orthodox Patriarch, or Anatoch. And you see the word after that says Jacobite, Syrian, Catholics. Used titles are called Aban, Moor. So now, this Moran, I'm going to skip forward. It says, after you see that little title right here, it says, the title Moran or Moor. Sometimes the Indian bearers of this title are called Moran, Mar, using hybrid style from both Syriac dialects. It reflects somewhat of the history of the Syrian Christian in Kerala. Now, this should get interesting, because it says the Pope of Rome referred to as Mar Papa by the St. Thomas Christian of India. So now I brought this word up dealing with our understanding of title of nobility. Rob, are you seeing what I'm looking at?
Yeah, I'm looking at it too.
You see what I'm looking at, right?
Yeah.
Now, what people need to understand is what was being brought up is this term called Moor. All right? Because today, Mr. and Mrs. M-O-R, without the O, M-R, and M-R-S, feminine and masculine forms of titles that we use today for saying Mr. your last name, Mrs. your last name, right? Our titles of nobility. Going back to this root word you see here with M-O-R and M-A-R, M-O-H-R, M-O-O-R, M-U-U-R, M-O-H-R, M-A-U-R. I could break it down. I could go down the line. Derivatives. It's a lot of them. But I brought up this proof. You have to do your own research on your own time to go into deeper on the etymology of this word and where it goes to. So now I brought this right here up for one reason, dealing with the Moors. Earlier I brought up the theocratic government. All right. Now, because I brought up the theocratic government earlier and dealing with that part, and as you said, Rob, and Matt Blaine brought up everything dealing with the indigenous side of everything. These people that came across dealing with the Papa Bull, the Dumb Diverses, were under these titles as dukes, barons, earls, knights, lords, etc. Queens, kings. Right?
All titles of nobility, like you said.
Titles of nobility. Now, either through royalty or through priesthood, this is a title of nobility that means you're a Moor. You see it, right? We're looking at it, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
All right. Now, understanding that this term is being broken down is a title of nobility. So you could have been a Scottish, British, Irish, Spanish, German, Dutch, Portuguese, Italian. If you was a Negro, as we call today a Negro, as we call today a black, your ancestors tied back to any of that titles of nobility in those places I just named. And they were expelled because of holy war. Because these same titles of nobility don't go back. When you research the language, they're talking about dealing with Aramaic, Syriac, Hebrew, Arabic, etc. are not the average terms that you use today in English as far as Mr. and Mrs. Because most of us don't understand how deep it go back to in nobility, and now it's a cliche term. It's a cliche term now, sir, Mr. But then it was actual ties to a nobility of Scottish, British, Irish, etc. Spain, North Africa, Egypt, on the walls, MR.
Jerusalem.
On the walls. So we have to understand nobility. And black nobility, as most conscious black people understand, and as I understand it from my research, that who they call today the black man, the heavily melanated man, Aboriginal man, autochthonous man, indigenous man of the planet. Of the planet.
Right.
That was dark-skinned melanin. Was the first noble man on the planet. The first noble man on any land situation, king, queen title, emperor, priest title, was a dark-skinned person that we will call a Mar, a Moor, a Mr., a Mrs., a Sir, a Knight, a King, a Queen. You dig what I'm going?
Yeah.
A chief. A chief.
So it was a title more so than a people, is what you're saying.
Correct. That's what I'm saying based off what you saw it. I mean, did I bring it up? I brought it up. Yeah. You saw what it said. So this title goes back to nobility of any people. Nobility, a duke, a earl, a baron, a knight, king, queen. These are titles of nobility and the descendants of those people. Also, saints, as we call it today, saints, priests, deacons, right? Now, as I break that down, this is only for the Moors, because I know some of y'all will be mad at me.
Before you leave, hold up. Before you change,
Go
I
ahead.
just want to say, I want to add to what you just said. I was
Yeah,
reading something earlier. About Christopher Columbus, and his son wrote his story, right?
yeah,
His
yeah.
illegitimate son, and they called him a moron or a Moran,
A Moran.
Moran. If I'm not mistaken, that was
No, you're
the
correct.
spelling.
You're correct.
And this is and look, we got pictures showing Christopher Columbus looking like a black man. You know what I'm
A
saying?
mulatto. They called him a Jew, a crypto Jew, a
He
Morisco,
he his
a
son said
Morisco.
they said they was descendants of nobility from Jerusalem. This is what the
Jerusalem.
son wrote.
Facts. Now, what understand? When that's a factual situation. What you just said, you're 100% right. Dealing with Columbus being a Morisco, he was not a white man. He was not what we call today a white man. He was a Morisco. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Which means he was a mix of descent. I don't know exactly what mix it was, but he still was not considered a white man at that
Right.
time.
Not,
And at the same time, because of dealing with the religious understanding that was taking place at that time, these people that was converted through holy war that were conquered in the areas and regions of North Africa, Spain, Italy, etc., because I can't go
hmm
down the line, converted from being what they were,
Christian.
no, Jews and Muslims, to being
Hmm.
Christians underneath the Roman Catholic Empire. See, a lot of people don't
They
know.
said
By the way, during this time frame, Charles V, the Roman Emperor, was a Negro. Charles V was a Negro at the time when a lot of shit was going on. It was like, I ain't messing with like Martin Luther. The original Martin
hmm
Luther was a German monk. It was religious wars. So the original Martin Luther was a German monk that started what we call today the Protestant situation. And this is a connection. I'm gonna get to the point. I only got a certain amount of time tonight because we're talking about this conversation of Muslims, Jews, Indians, and Moors. I brought up the Moor
hmm
part to break down the title of nobility. That means that go across the plane. Even if you were indigenous and you held a title of nobility, they looked at you in the same manner, but you were still expelled because you were not a Christian. So when they came to conquer your land, they acknowledged you as nobility, even though
hmm
you controlled your territory, because you was being conquered based off of the dumb diverses, the Papa Bull, Doctrine of Discovery,
Yeah.
and anybody dealing with and looking like and not moving with the religious belief of what was coming to conquer was considered savage and your land could be taken. This is in
You
the
know what's worse
1400s, 1500s.
is when they got here, they found Indians with the cross. They found
Well,
them in
huh,
Mississippi and in the Northeast.
well, that conversation can get deeper. Marco Polo.
Yeah,
But I'm not going to go into that whole thing. We're not in the pool right now.
I
I'm going to
got
stay
you.
on the bank of the currency of the ocean. I'm really in this topic right now for the moment. You know what I'm saying?
No
And
doubt.
in the matter of speaking on that, people need to go watch that Marco Polo on Netflix with
Oh,
Genghis
I've been.
Khan
That's my shit. That's my shit.
dealing with Prester
That's
John
my shit.
and symbology in that. And then I can bring that back. But right now, we're going to talk about, as we're talking tonight, right? So, me understanding the connections of certain things, because I brought up earlier, I went to Louisiana. And afterwards, I've been to South Carolina. I went to South Carolina for an event that took place, which was a ribbon cutting of the Yamasi that most people
Mm,
are showing pictures of today, the current Yamasi speaking in South Carolina, Allensdale, that were acknowledged by the city, the county, for being based off the wars that took place. And these are people like the Yuchi, the Gullah,
right.
Yamasi, South Carolina, acknowledged that the original people. I was there when they cut the ribbon. So me knowing that, this is back, how long this was? 10 years? Easy. 10, 11 years, I went and saw that. I traveled with the peoples up there. With the grandma, the Yuchi brother, I'm not going to say his name, Chief, the Yuchi, took his grandma with him up to South Carolina. She was in the 80s then. This is 10 years ago. Like, wheelchair. She had to get out the vehicle, got to put her in a wheelchair, type thing. And we stopped at the cemetery. She showed us the cemetery. When you cross, the Savannah River going from Georgia into South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? So, literally, the Yuchi, the Yamasi, the Muskegee situation that took place between Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida, I got to really see. Because literally, we were traveling from Florida, going north, all the way to that location for this ribbon ceremony. I witnessed it. I was there. You know what I'm saying? Physically. And these white people that run the city, acknowledging people we call today black, if they go anywhere else, as the indigenous people and the original people that had the treaties and the wars that took place in that territory. And they acknowledged that in South Carolina. So I know from Louisiana to South Carolina to where I'm at right now in Florida, East Florida, to Cuesta Territory, going into what we call West Florida, which is Louisiana, before the French came and called it that, because before it was called that by the French, the Spanish called it West Florida. It was Spanish territory.
Yeah.
So the French took over that part of what we call today Louisiana, dealing with King Louis and Anna Marie. And that goes back to what we call the Wachita, the Tunica. And I can go into that again. That's a whole nother conversation for another time. But I want to make sure people got tonight. One more thing. The Indian term. Before I leave y'all tonight. And by the way, Matt Blaine, I appreciate you very much for tapping in, giving you information. And anybody that needs to tap in with you, I will refer them to you for what you're doing. I appreciate you. And same with you, Rob. King Moves, Lewis, everything you doing as well with the indigenous community and dealing with our people and the nationality of what we're doing.
Appreciate
it. And understanding that African American ain't it. That's not the term we need to be using. Y'all understand that part. African American ain't it in 2020. Like, I don't.
Hell no.
I ain't arguing with nobody that want to call themselves Moors. That's your history or your heritage or your genealogy, because I don't get caught up in mythology and spookism. If that's your real background and that's what happens to be in this time frame we're in now, that's your heritage and your family tree, I can't tell you nothing. Hang with what it is. No offense, no pun intended. I don't want nobody hanging from no trees. But you get where I'm coming from? Hang from the tree you come from. The fruit gonna come from that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking
your own background.
You gotta do your genealogy.
Yep.
I'm not knocking that part of understanding, but when we come to history, and we know the powers that be had an agenda, and some of them look like us, but they lost control.
Sir. Ooh, you said it right just then, bro.
No, that's
because they still in effect. Are they not?
They're still.
Are they not? They're still doing it.
I get mad. People get mad at me for saying that because I guess Black Lives Matter is still something that people think is real that can't be owned by somebody like a white man. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and say this real quick before I leave y'all. Hey, Blaze, we're gonna leave on this tip, and I'm gonna bring y'all back because we gotta leave here in like 15 minutes. I'm going over my time. I really am. It's a mixed show. We do this shit. We take over this shit, talk this kind of shit, and still try to play some music at the same time right now.
You do your thing, bro. You doing your thing. I love it, man. You do. I
appreciate y'all. And I appreciate everybody for tapping in. You know what I mean? Thomas Party each and every Sunday right here. This is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about economics, politics, culture, heritage, nationality, you know what I'm saying? And things that's going to get us in a better position moving forward. But now, to close out my conversation with y'all tonight, I learned something in my travels with all these things I've come across. And that's what made me maroon. Like literally, like I'm leaving that alone. I gotta govern myself. I gotta take care of my family no matter what. Across the boards of politically, economically, culturally. And I gotta make sure I implement the things that's value to me to give down to my legacy of people that's going to obviously, which is my children, right? My child, I only got one, and obviously the people around me in my community and their children that can get the right information so they won't make the mistakes that we made, right? You know what I mean? This is why
Yeah.
we're doing this, right? You know what I'm saying? The platform is set up for us to give the people the information that don't know, and they can go ahead and tap into certain things they might want to find out more about. I'm not
Yep. Look it up.
egotistical, acting like I got all the answers. But what I do know, and what I'm factually going to stand on, is African American ain't it,
You're
and
right
black
about that.
is not it.
Nope.
Now,
Man, I had that conversation with my mother today. Like, Mom, black was a status, it's not a race.
it's not a race, not a
Just
human.
looking at the genealogy, like sometimes, they may not have us written down correctly. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You
It's
just,
a, again, I'm reaching out to y'all, and I met y'all tonight through Facebook, and this is my proof that I know that there's a lot of people out there that we all know in our respective areas that we live in that don't have no knowledge of the things that we talked about right now tonight on this platform. And when I
yeah,
talk to certain people that do know, they be like, "Man, people should know that." I'm like, "Man, people really don't know."
man, a lot of people don't know, bro.
Like, that's
A
why
lot
they.
of people.
That's why they're making decisions they're making because of the history they believe in, the religion they
Hmm.
believe in, the nationality of a corporation that we contracted with. I don't want to state the facts. I'm just
They
saying what it
still on the
is.
low vibration, man. They're still on the low vibration, bro. You know what I mean? The
Facts.
low vibration to keep your mind from even thinking, "Hey, I'm better than, I'm more than." Yo, no, no, we are whole so much more, bro. So much more.
Reparations. Rob, you're gonna talk again because I can
Okay,
keep
I'm with
going
it,
with
bro.
y'all for three,
I
four
know you
hours
can,
probably.
man.
Easy, right? We can do
I
this.
know you can.
And Mac, I know you on mute right now. You in the back listening, but I appreciate you.
Yeah,
We
I'm
gotta tap
listening.
into some music. Oh,
I
you say
appreciate
something?
y'all too, man. I appreciate y'all, man, inviting me on. So
What up, Mac?
What
it's
up,
a
Mac,
lot of
man?
fun.
Hey, we both Macs, man. We gotta talk. You know what it is.
Gotcha. Man, y'all can hit me up, man. I'm on Facebook you can find me at the American, and you just spell America and put a K there. And or you can look me up as Mac Blaine, just like you see my name on here. So y'all drop by and check me out. I'm gonna have to let you guys go, man. It's been fun, and if y'all send me a link next week, I'll get on with you guys and chop it up again. So you can just hit me in my DM or whatever. But other
Yeah, I
than that,
appreciate that.
Bet that.
We
y'all
got
have
you,
a
bro.
good
We
night.
gonna and listen. It was
I
supposed to
got,
be more people on this conversation. It's this conversation of
mhm.
what we do on this podcast, what we call the cultural conversation, or what we call spectrum. Because we got an acronym called Spectrum, and it's
Mhm.
dealing with politics, economics, cultural truths,
Right.
reuniting the people marooned in the Americas.
That's what's
So, you know what I mean? Samdi is our enlightenment, our final stage of it. And we need more of us to find it before we die. Because a lot
Yep.
of us ain't going to meet it until we die unless we find out now. It's time to wake up. We're not in the dream state no more. We got to get into the reality of certain things. So, the American on Facebook with a K,
Right. Right.
tap in
Yep. Y'all
on
look me up.
Facebook. And King Moves on Facebook. Talk
Doing
to him,
King Moon
Rob.
Factor.
All right.
All right, so I got three things going, man. I got the king and queens moving forward, which is just for all of us. That means whatever you believe in, just all of our people to get together and do something positive. You know what I mean? Moving forward, that's what it's about. So that's for everybody. The King Move Factoids is just me putting out little factoids, little things that I find as I go along. I'm sharing it with everybody. All right. And then I got the group. It's a group, but it's really the only way that I could collect all this evidence because it's called King Move's Body of Evidence. And everybody is welcome to go in, look through it, use it if you need it. You know what I mean? It's good reference points. That's what that's for. It's not really so much as an interactive as much as a collection, like a database. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, again, that's why I brought you on tonight because I see what you're doing. You got your own pages and things that you're feeding out information to. I want people to tap into the information. That's why I brought you on tonight, because you're just not
I
talking.
appreciate it.
You really are walking. You know what I'm saying? You're really putting
I'm
out stuff.
trying, bro.
But people, no, you're not trying, my dude. You ain't trying shit. You're doing
I'm
it.
still learning too, brother. I'm still learning too. Yo, you
We
know
all
who I would
learning.
love to sit on? You know who I would love for you to get, and I could sit in on it? Is Dr. Ali Muhammad, bro. Because
Hey,
you know.
I'm
I
a
know
matter of
y'all
fact.
broke too.
Know what though? I'm glad you called his
Woo!
name out, because I'm gonna copy this clip you just
Woo-hoo-hoo.
said right here, and I'm gonna send it
Yeah,
to him.
man.
I'm gonna send it to him since you said that. I'm gonna send him this clip strictly to him, Dr. Ali Muhammad, because I've
Ooh,
been
that
we've
boy.
been friends
Nasty.
on Facebook for a
Ooh.
while, and I've seen his
Yeah.
transition from dealing with the fruit of Islam into his
Mm-hmm.
indigenous perspectives, and I would like to hear him address the situation based off the things that I know he's doing in the community. I'm not going to speak on it on
Right.
his behalf. I'm gonna let him speak on himself. So we're
You
gonna
gotta let
try
him
and get
tell
him
it.
in
Right.
here and
Yeah.
tap in and see what happens.
Ooh.
Hey,
Hey,
this is
just
what I'm
let
doing
me
it for. You're right.
just let me be a wall on the fly, bro. I mean, just let me be a
Nah,
fly on the
man, don't
wall,
say
bro.
that.
Just
You ain't
let
gonna
me
be
be.
no,
Hey,
yeah, nah, you ain't no word. Ain't no fly on the wall type shit with us, man.
hey. I
Everybody
just
count
want
a
to
certain
listen.
way, man. Everybody add to the
No doubt.
situation. That's what makes us better. You know what I mean? Everybody has a piece to this puzzle. And that's why we have these conversations that we're having on what we call the autonomous party. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to be
Yes, sir.
biased of anybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be discriminative of anybody and what they
No, no, no,
believe
no,
in
no.
and what got them make them a better person. But when it comes to
Yeah.
nationality and our heritage, genealogy, you know what I'm saying, of who we are as melanated people in Americas, is something that is more detailed than the term that's been given to us called black. And we have to get past even the state terms as Jamaican, Haitian, and these terms that were given
Hey,
to us by colonists,
that's
and
right.
understand our geology
Oh,
and our heritage on a real level, whatever it might have came from. And at the same time, people need to understand that you have the right to tap into your nationality, no matter what mixture it is in this day and time. Now, Obama actually signed off on it. If you want to give him credit for something, I only give him credit for one thing. That's it. That he
which
signed off
one? The
on the rights of an indigenous
UNDRIP?
people. That you have a right
UNDRIP?
to claim. It's, yeah, you injure, you injure.
The UNDRIP? Yeah.
The
Well,
UNDRIP,
hey,
yeah.
don't forget about the part where you can how you could change your classification through your passport. He did that too.
Exactly. But no, what? Hey, Rod, stay there. Don't go no more. Don't go no more. You're gonna talk too long. Blaze, man, get us out of here, man. Hey,
All
Rob,
right, my
thank you,
brother.
man.
Good talking to you. Thank you too,
Appreciate you,
brother.
bro.
Good talking to you. All right,
Yeah,
Slim
peace and
Red. Good
love,
talking
man.
to you,
All
brother,
right.
man. Y'all be good, fellas.
Yes,
We're gonna
sir.
All
talk
right,
again,
man.
man. We're gonna talk soon.
Oh,
I
no doubt.
appreciate you,
All the
man.
time. All the time.
Definitely.
All
Once
right,
again,
broski. One
peace.
Peace.
love.
You're watching us on Facebook, The Autonomous Party, or www.theautonomousparty.com. We are available at them, links for you to tap into us and watch us, along with the Music Media Lounge.com.